Breaking news coverage of attorney Michael Avenatti arrested in New York and charges being brought against him. I'm going to bring on the phone now Alan Dershowitz, Harvard law professor emeritus. This caught a lot of people off guard. Maybe not Avenatti, though, because he had already planned a press conference to talk about some of these charges against him. Talk to me about your reaction at this point and kind of take us through what's happening to him.
Well, I never feel good when somebody is charged with a serious crime, and we have to remember we have a presumption of innocence. But from what I've seen, he was on the phone, perhaps recorded, perhaps not, in which he was essentially accused of threatening to affect Nike's capital value unless some money was paid. And he's been charged with extortion. I don't know the specifics of what the conversation regarded, but the law is clear. You can't threaten a company's bottom line unless they pay money, unless it's part of a negotiation. This is an example, perhaps, of a guy with a big mouth using words that reasonable lawyers would never use in a conversation. Whether he's actually guilty of the crime or not, we'd have to know a lot more about the evidence, and the presumption of innocence applies to even people who wouldn't apply the presumption of innocence to other people.
Alan, what does it say to you that the IRS special agent is involved in one of these news conferences? There are going to be two, one in Los Angeles and one in New York.
Well, it's hard to know. I mean, there may be tax implications. It doesn't sound like that from what we've heard. But it also may be that because it involves just finances, you get IRS agents being involved. But if it's a straight-out extortion case, you would expect just FBI agents. I mean, there have been a number of such cases, and I know lawyers who engaged in extortion, and some of them have been punished, some of them have not been. So, these are serious matters.
We did learn that there was a statement that was put out on Stormy Daniels. On February 19th, we informed Stormy Daniels in writing that we were terminating our legal representation. This is Avenatti, of her various reasons that we cannot disclose publicly due to the attorney-client privilege. This was not a decision we made lightly, and it came after lengthy discussion, thought, and deliberation, as well as consultation with other professionals. We wish Stormy all the best. Michael Avenatti, some would say, became famous representing that adult porn star against the President of the United States over a payment of $130,000 that she wanted to basically give back so that she could be relieved of a non-disclosure agreement. So I want to give you an opportunity just to talk about that case in particular with this and the idea that you relieve a client ahead of something like these charges.
Well, he may have been fired or he may have left. We don't know. And remember, too, that a lawyer representing somebody like Stormy Daniels or Stormy Daniels could themselves be guilty of extortion if they said to the president or his representative that unless you pay me money, we will publicly expose the affair. That, too, would be extortion. And so lawyers have to be very, very careful about how they frame complaints in situations like this. Remember, this is a bad day for Michael Avenatti, because he also went on television and promised the American public that President Trump would never serve out his term. You can count on it. You can be sure he's going to be impeached. He's going to be indicted. He's been wrong just about everything, but I don't get any great joy from seeing a lawyer indicted on such serious charges that could result in disbarment and a significant prison term.
Alan Dershowitz, thank you very much for your time and your expertise as this news is breaking on Michael Avenatti. Thank you.